Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing great today because we've got a massive update to talk about for Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. The latest patch, version 1.0, just dropped, and this one's a real game changer in a few different ways. Whether you've been grinding ranked since launch or you're just jumping back in after a break, this update's packed with features that make the game feel more complete, smoother, and definitely more rewarding to play. So let's talk about what's new and what actually matters. First off, the headline feature, Ranked Match Phase 1, is officially live. This isn't just some small tweak to the ranking system either. SNK went ahead and restructured how the whole ranked experience works by making rankings tied to specific characters. That means if you're a player who loves to experiment with the roster, or maybe you're still figuring out who your main is, you don't have to stress about tanking your overall rank when you switch. You can now level up your rank per character, and that alone is going to completely change how people approach online play. It's such a relief for those who want to test secondary characters or explore different styles without the anxiety of ruining their standing. The new layout for the ranking screen looks slick too. SNK added brand new rank names and icons, and there's this unified view that shows both your rank and character mastery in one place. It's much cleaner and more satisfying to check out after each session. The leaderboards also got some love, better filters, clearer design, and overall it just feels more like a proper competitive hub. It's a small thing, but these UI touches make a big difference when you're spending hours grinding. Now, the second big highlight of this patch, and probably the most exciting for a lot of people, is the arrival of Joe Higashi. The Muay Thai legend is back and fully playable across every mode: Versus, Online, Arcade, and EOST. If you've been a long-time SNK fan, you already know Joe brings that high-energy, high-commitment playstyle, and it's awesome to see him reimagined in this new engine. His whole vibe feels faithful but fresh. You can tell SNK really worked to capture his old-school personality while making sure he fits right into City of the Wolves' modern pace. His fearless man stance adds a cool new flavor to his kit, giving players more flexibility in how they pressure opponents or set up their spacing game. I spent some time with him in training mode, and I can already tell this guy's going to be a menace in the right hands. His movement feels snappy, his normals hit hard, and his specials have that satisfying rhythmic energy that makes you want to keep attacking. And that brings us to the battle settings upgrades, another part of this patch that's way more useful than it might sound on paper. You can now select multiple preferred stages instead of being stuck with just one. The game will randomly pick between your choices when a match starts. It's a small change, but it helps keep things visually fresh without forcing you into stages you can't stand. On top of that, they added separate music preferences through the jukebox, so you can choose exactly what tracks you want to hear in each context, whether you're someone who loves that classic Fatal Fury energy, or prefers the new remixes. Now you can fine-tune your whole vibe before every fight. Another subtle but great addition. The results screen now shows your win rate and your progress toward the next rank. It's something we probably should have had from day one, but it's really satisfying to finally see it. That next rank indicator adds just enough motivation to keep playing a few more matches, even when you're tired. It makes every fight feel like you're building towards something visible. And we've got to talk about the online and quality of life improvements too. SNK actually addressed some long-requested features here. For starters, the game now shows whether your opponent is on a wired or wireless connection in more areas, which is huge for people who care about match stability. Nobody likes getting into a laggy match because the other player's on Wi-Fi, right? Now, at least you have that information up front. There's also an added confirmation step when a match is found, so you're not suddenly thrown into a fight if you weren't quite ready. It's the kind of polish that shows SNK is really listening to the community. They also made tweaks to the matchmaking BGM settings. You can now have different tracks for match entry and room match, which gives a bit more control over your experience. And behind the scenes, they've done some connectivity tuning to make things smoother. Early reports from players say matches feel more consistent overall, and that's always a good sign. The training mode also got a few really nice upgrades. There's now a dedicated reversals menu, which lets you test specific counter situations more efficiently. On top of that, both the training and trials menus have a new shortcuts submenu, which makes it easier to navigate all those little options we keep fiddling with. If you spend a lot of time in the lab, and let's be real, most serious players do, these quality of life additions go a long way toward making your practice time more productive. Another behind the scenes improvement is the new display device selector. For people running multi-monitor setups, this is a lifesaver. You can now pick exactly which display you want the game to run on, and although it resets your resolution preferences once when you first set it up, that's a small price to pay for the convenience. It's those technical tweaks that make the overall experience feel smoother and more modern. Something I really liked, SNK added legacy Fatal Fury openings from older titles into the gallery. It's such a nice touch for longtime fans. You can relive those classic intros right inside the game now, which gives the whole thing a stronger sense of history. It's a reminder of how far the series has come, but it also shows SNK still values its roots. The gallery in general feels like it's growing into a proper museum of Fatal Fury history, and that's something fans are definitely going to appreciate. They didn't stop there though. Color edit and UI responsiveness both got subtle improvements. Menus feel a bit snappier now, and the color edit system seems smoother when previewing your designs. Little things like that make daily use so much nicer, especially when you're customizing characters or just hopping between modes. Now let's talk about fixes and balance notes, because even though this update doesn't bring sweeping tier changes, it still has some very important system-level adjustments. One key fix was for projectiles causing unintended counter-hit stun chains. Basically, there were some weird interactions that could let players extend hits in ways that weren't intended. And that's been resolved. They also brought EO's super dodge attack frame advantage in line with the rest of the system, which should make those exchanges feel more consistent across the cast. And they even tweaked subtitle opacity during EOS sequences, so they're easier to read now. Small, but thoughtful. As for characters, the tweaks were light, mostly bug-level fixes rather than major reworks. SNK clearly wanted to stabilize the game without blowing up the balance meta, especially since Ranked Phase 1 is just starting. This is smart. People need time to adjust to the new ranking system and see how Joe fits into the cast before any major balance waves come through. From what I've seen so far, no one's getting nerfed into the ground, and the overall playstyle diversity still feels healthy. One of the biggest wins of this update, though, isn't even in the patch notes. It's the way the new ranked structure changes player psychology. By letting you earn rank separately for each character, SNK just made experimentation fun again. Before, people were too afraid to step out of their comfort zone, because losing matches meant losing progress. Now that barrier is gone. You'll probably start seeing way more variety online, more matchups to study, and more creative styles emerging. It's the kind of change that helps keep a fighting game fresh for years instead of months. And Joe's arrival couldn't have been timed better. A lot of players were asking for another veteran presence, and Joe hits that nostalgia note perfectly. But he's not just a nostalgia pick. His fearless man stance and unique flow make him stand out in the new system. The way he transitions between pressure and spacing feels natural, and his combos look stylish without being overly complex. Expect him to show up everywhere online this week. People are already experimenting with high damage corner setups and some scary frame traps. I've got to say, SNK's pacing with these updates have been really solid lately. Instead of rushing out constant balance patches, they're spacing them out and making sure each one feels meaningful. Version 1.4.0 feels like it was designed to strengthen the foundation before they move into the next big content phase. The Ranked Phase 1 rollout gives the devs valuable data too. They'll be able to see which characters dominate, how players adapt, and where the next tuning pass should focus. And if you're wondering when all of this went live, it officially dropped on October 11th, 2025. So if you haven't booted up the game since then, you might want to clear some time, because there's a lot to explore. The community is already buzzing with matches, lab sessions, and fresh clips of Joe absolutely tearing through people online. Personally, I think this update might be one of the most balanced ones yet in terms of what it brings to both casual and competitive players. It's not just about numbers or patch notes, it's about giving players tools to enjoy the game their own way. Between the ranked overhaul, Joe's debut, and all the quality of life upgrades, City of the Wolves is starting to feel like the complete package SNK has been building toward. So yeah, that's everything in version 1.0, and honestly, it's a fantastic step forward for the game. Whether you're a die-hard ranked grinder or someone who just enjoys stylish matches with friends, there's something in this patch that improves your experience. Joe Higashi adds that perfect hit of nostalgia and excitement, while the ranked changes modernize the way progression works. The game feels fairer, cleaner, and more rewarding than ever before. If you haven't played in a while, this is absolutely the right time to come back. The servers are active, the new systems feel fresh, and the balance is stable enough to jump right in without worrying that you're too far behind. SNK clearly isn't slowing down, and if this update is any indication, City of the Wolves is going to keep growing into one of the strongest fighting games in the current generation. So that's going to wrap it up for today's breakdown. Let me know what you think of version 1.4.0. Have you tried Joe yet? How do you feel about the new ranked setup? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I'm genuinely curious to see what everyone's favorite part of the update is. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, keep training, keep fighting, and have fun out there in City of the Wolves.